In this edition of Southern Newsweek, WorkSafe investigate a fatal construction site incident in Queenstown where one man died and another is seriously injured. A factory fire in Dunedin sees a number of appliances called in to contain the blaze, and Queenstown Lakes District Council play their cards close to their chest about the solution to the lack of low-cost accommodation in the tourist town. Kia ora, I'm Holly Buchanan. WorkSafe are investigating an incident near Queenstown earlier this week that killed a 63-year-old local man and left a 19-year-old man in critical condition in Dunedin Hospital. Emergency services were called to a construction site at the Closeburn Station subdivision about 4 p.m. after the two men were pinned against a retaining wall by a truck. Police say there was no one in the truck at the time. A large crane was used to move the truck and free the injured man, who was flown to Dunedin Hospital in the Otago Regional Rescue Helicopter about 6:20 p.m. He is now in a stable condition in the intensive care unit. The debate over Dunedin's latest five-star hotel bid is set to increase following the lodging of a resource consent for the tower in the heart of the city. Mr Toswell said the project would be a major economic generator that delivered new jobs, more tourists and better marketing, and sent a signal the city was open for business.
5 stars and 17 stories of glass. The proposed hotel is represented in these artist drawings as it might appear from various vantage points. I'm Roselle LeBone in Dunedin, where the idea of a major new hotel somewhere in the city has been tossed around for years, with no developer yet having got a project across the line. This is the site earmarked for the latest development, the Dunedin City Council owned car park at the corner of Falul Street and Moray Place, opposite the Dunedin Town Hall. The hotel would feature 3 towers, 64 metres at their highest point and 53 metres higher than the limit in that part of the city. There would be 210 hotel rooms, 64 apartments and 4 penthouse suites, hot pools, spas and conference room. The total cost is $75 million. The company putting up the proposal is Horizon Hospitality Group Limited. Its spokesman is company director and shareholder Tekapo businessman Anthony Toswell. Mr Toswell told me earlier today the previous design had been changed to reduce the effect on the view of homeowners behind the hotel.
We've also angled the development so that it's free-sided, so that the width of the development and the footprint can be reduced.
This is not the first time Dunedin has entered into a high-rise hotel debate. In 2012, plans for a 27-storey hotel near Otago Harbour's steamer basin were rejected by a hearings committee in the face of considerable public opposition. And this new project is also drawing flack, not least from Dunedin's art identity Peter Entwistle, whose home would overlook the new hotel. This is what he had to say today.
Some of it will be below the ground, so there might only be as much as 13 above the ground, but that still is well beyond the limit.
A new 5-star hotel has long been the dream of many in the city business community, but near the site today there were again mixed views.
I guess looking the other way when you're looking at the top of Falul Street backwards, it sort of looked quite obvious, but yeah, I don't know. I guess it's one of those things, you don't do something, you don't make progress, and if you do, you're going to upset people.
Well, I hear not a lot of people like it though.
Why do you like it?
It just looks different, I guess.
I think if they're going to put something like that behind there, it should be a bit more creative, artistic.
From the picture, it's too big, I think.
The public has until the 10th of May to make a written submission, and a hearing before independent commissioners will be held in July. I'm Roselle LeBone for the South Today.
The fire service received many calls regarding smoke coming from the top of the Greg's coffee factory this week. Fire crews encountered heavy smoke in top stories of the building, which was due to problems with the roasting equipment. Multiple hotspots were detected within the pipework, and the fire service was working with the engineers to isolate the problem. All persons were accounted for and workers all followed emergency procedures. Pregnant women and those over 65 are now being given the influenza vaccination from their accredited pharmacist. Regulatory organisation Pharmac made the change to allow for better access and to increase the uptake of influenza vaccinations among those eligible. Mina Amzo gets to the sharp end of the needle.
Pharmacists can now provide free flu vaccination to pregnant women and people over 65 years. It's been 3 years since pharmacists were able to provide vaccinations to people 13 years and over, and now they can provide the annual inoculation to wider audience. Queenstown pharmacist Claire Arrowsmith says more people are coming forward to get the jab.
I haven't actually had any pregnant women come in yet, but I've had people come in over 65, and yeah, it's just a simple form to fill out as you would at the doctor's, but yeah, it just makes it that much more accessible from pharmacy.
Arrowsmith's pharmacy started this year's round of flu vaccinations this week.
This is the third year our pharmacy has taken part in flu vaccinations, and more people are getting aware of it each year, and yeah, numbers are increasing year on year.
Great to have pharmacists being able to vaccinate as well. It just gives people more options to be able to obtain their vaccines, because one of the common reasons why people don't get vaccinated with flu vaccination is they just don't get round to it. It's difficult to get along to the doctor and get it done, particularly for working people. Many pregnant women are still working.
It's called Influvac, a 3-strain vaccination that's completely funded by the government for pregnant women and those over 65.
At some stage it may well open up to the others with other medical conditions, but currently yeah, it's just increased the access for a huge number of people.
Dr. Turner says more people are getting the flu vaccine over the last few years in New Zealand.
I think one thing that people are becoming more aware of than they were previously is that you don't just vaccinate to protect yourself, but a lot of us as healthy people working with others vaccinate so that we do not spread flu to others.
About 84,500 doses of vaccine were dished out in the Southern District Health Board region alone. That's about 6% rise from 2014. The funded flu jab is available for eligible groups until the end of December. Nina Amso, The South Today.
The Queenstown Lakes District Council is embarking on a new initiative to tackle housing shortages in the Lakes District area. A new model of affordable housing to meet the needs of moderate to low income residents, including families, is being considered, but the task force is refusing to say what it is.
The new Queenstown Mayoral Housing Task Force met for the first time yesterday. The South Today wasn't allowed to film at the meeting, but Mayor Jim Bold putting out a statement only. In it, he said the task force is keen to address housing shortages. A plan is being worked on, but he is not saying what the plan is. Mr. Bold said the housing squeeze was not a new issue for Queenstown, but the situation had been made more complicated by the attraction of a higher returns property owners who obtain a high amount of money from renting their houses to visitors rather than letting them to long-term tenants. Mayor Jim Bold said in a statement, quote, "It was too early to give details because of the complicated nature of this work. It will take long-term modelling to assess the effects." He said it's about creating an affordable housing model that works alongside the existing private and commercial ownership system. Bold said it could be several months before any detail could be released. Those on the task force are from government bodies like New Zealand Treasury, as well as architects, lawyers, finance groups and community housing, tourism educator sectors, real estate agents and of course the Queenstown Lakes District Council. Mina Amso, The South Today.
Coming up on Southern Newsweek, there's more to this cartoonist than wit. A new talent arrives and he perceives more than the average cartoonist. And on time and under budget, the road to Nugget Point is completed and handed over. A legally blind cartoonist born in Timaru, raised in Canterbury and resettled in Dunedin is taking his skills from the streets to the workshop floor. Brent Harper might not be able to capture the finer details of physical appearance available to someone with perfect vision, but as reporter Roselle Lebone found out, there's more to his cartoons than meets the eye.
He sees the side you hide, or maybe wish you could hide, from the world. He takes in your foibles and your good personality traits at a glance and commits them to paper. In a way, Brent Harper sees more than those with 20/20 vision ever could.
It took me 46 years and 30 seconds to draw. And last weekend I was working at Toitu Museum and I clocked up, I think, 220 animals over 4 hours.
I'm Roselle LeBone. I'm here with legally blind, busking street cartoonist Brent Harper. He's about to start a series of workshops here in Dunedin for kids to learn how to draw cartoons, and I'm just about to have my picture taken. Harper is a street cartoonist with a keen eye and a sharp pen. He's worked around the world, and some of his most famous creations can be found everywhere.
But my sight being quite limited, I like to draw how I see people, which is a little bit out of focus, a little bit blurry, not too much detail.
I'm a bit nervous here about what come out on the paper. Harper's vision has deteriorated since he was a child to the point where he is now totally blind in his right eye with limited vision in the left.
I have a hereditary eye condition of the cornea, so I've had a couple of major eye operations. My art teacher at high school hated cartoons, so I gave up on art while I was at high school.
He has a unique approach to creating cartoon likenesses of passers-by. What do you think?
Good.
Happy?
He's a good drawer.
With his fedora and mane of grey hair, Harper always attracts a crowd. The secret to avoiding lulls in foot traffic, he says, is to always be drawing. He'll also take donations of chocolate or coffee if you're short a bob or two.
I've never lived in Dunedin and it's wonderful. I've only been here 4 months and people are so kind and generous. I go busking, people throw money at me and so
hopefully not literally.
sometimes. Oh no. Well, the notes are nice. Throw notes, they don't hurt so much.
When he's not busking, he goes wherever his services are required. He'll be sharing his skills with children in 2 workshops in Dunedin's Northeast Valley these school holidays. He says kids don't need much more to be entertained than a Sharpie and a piece of paper. I think the likeness is extraordinary. Roselle LeBone, The South Today.
The road to Nugget Point has finally been tar sealed. The project, which has taken many months to complete, was finally opened this week by the Mayor and dignitaries. The 8-kilometre road was sealed on time and under budget.
After months of work, the recently sealed Nuggets Road near Kaka Point was officially opened in a special ceremony yesterday. About 30 or 40 people attended the special opening ceremony, which was officiated by Clutha Mayor Brian Cadogan, with the ribbon cut by local resident Marilyn Dunn and Kaumautua Maureen Wiley. The project had an original budget of about $2.7 million, but came in about $2.2 million, with the contract awarded to South Roads.
Well, actually, this is really a significant day for our district. It's great, firstly, from a project point of view, that along with our partners, DOC and NZTA, we delivered a project on time and under budget. But if you look at the wider significance, it's a commitment from all our ratepayers to developing our tourist network.
According to the New Zealand Transport Authority, the project to seal the Nuggets Road leading to the Nugget Point Lighthouse was identified as a key project in order to create a thriving Otago. Driving on unsealed gravel roads was identified for a challenge for visitors such as tourists.
In the year 2015, there were 10 accidents in the 2 months of February-March. I think the accidents reported may have also swung the decision to seal.
The number of visitors to Nugget Point Lighthouse had increased to about 60,000 people per year. And that number is expected to increase with the sealing of the road now.
When you look at the exploding tourism numbers, we're going to be in on that. It's got the potential to be transformational to our district.
I'm Samuel White for The South Today.
After the break on Southern Newsweek, the ultimate waterman and a 4-legged friend retires for a well-earned rest from Wakaari Hospital. Well, Welcome back. 8 of the world's best surfers are in Southland vying to become the ultimate Waterman. Organisers say it's unlike other surfing competitions.
The Ultimate Waterman is a competition between 8 athletes over 9 days in 8 disciplines, with just one champion. The surfing's taken place at Southland's Colac Bay and off Resolution Island in Fiordland. And contest director Ben Kennings says it's been an excellent event so far.
So we've toyed around with it a lot in the office, and it was my boss Greg Townsend that came up with the concept and wanted to try something a little bit different other than just shortboarding or longboarding, and try and pull them together and acknowledge all the things that are done in the ocean. There's a lot of modern day surfers that cross over to all these disciplines.
The athletes' skills are put to the test with a variety of surfing disciplines, including shortboard, longboard, stand-up paddleboard and big wave paddle and surfing, as well as endurance races including underwater strength running and swimming, supboarding, prone paddleboard and waka armour. Kenning says it requires a special kind of athlete.
We have targeted the best athletes possible. There are a lot of other guys that hound us all the time via email and social media, and they really want to come and join this event, and I think in future we'll be able to expand it. At the moment it's just a case of finding the budget to do that, and we have handpicked the athletes, so try to get a good mix.
One of the 8 athletes is Kiwi Daniel Kiriopa. He says he's doing his best to make New Zealand proud.
My favourite discipline of the 8 would be all the surfing events. Small waves, big waves, longboarding, sup surfing. Anything to do with the movement of the ocean. That's been my career for the last 25 years. So the endurance side of it is a little bit tougher. It's a much more of a grind aspect in your mind, which is not what I'm used to. I'm used to going with the flow, moving with the ocean, not sort of like start, finish, go as fast as you can.
The overall winner will be announced this Sunday in Invercargill. I'm Ruby Spink for the South Today.
Matara Pony Club gave young riders a chance to learn through experience when it hosted the Mount of the Year competition recently. Club President Janine Perkins says the day gave young riders a chance to experience what a horse show was like.
Horse riding is all about how you seat a horse and how well you mount, among other things of course. The Matara Pony Club's Mount of the Year competition offers younger riders a leg in to the equestrian world. Club President Janine Perkins outlines the competition.
They've got 3 classes in the morning. There's turnout, rider and pony club mount, so they get scored on that. If they get place they get scores, so their morning score counts, and that in the afternoon they do a show hunter round and then an FEI round.
Perkins says it gives riders the opportunity to test their skills before some of them move on to further events.
So so it just gives a little taste of what it's like, and there's just overall points, so yeah, just a little bit of fun for the kids.
She says it's definitely a learning experience and grooms these eager youngsters towards events like the New Zealand Horse of the Year competition.
It's got some of the same classes that they run up there, but they're all different. Yes, yeah, no, it's Horse of the Year. I've never actually been myself. I'd love to go. I'm pleased I didn't go this year because I think it got rained out pretty much. But yeah, no, it's based on sort of along that line. Yeah.
In the afternoon, the riders took part in a show hunter class, which consisted of a round of show jumping, judged on style rather than time. And there were also separate show jumping classes. At the end of the day, the winner was determined on overall points. Daryl Baser, The South Today.
A very loved therapist is retiring from Wakaari Hospital's ISIS Centre. The staff member held the position of diversional therapist and practiced an unconventional therapy called cuddling and purring on patients' laps.
Jimmy the cat is retiring from the ISIS ward after 14 years of dedicated service. He volunteered his services by turning up to the ward in 2003, straight away getting to his duties, sleeping on people's beds at night and greeting new patients into the ward. Social worker Murray Lloyd says Jimmy has left a huge mark on many people.
Jimmy will be known from the bluff
up to Timaru and over to Queenstown.
She says he will be missed immensely by staff and patients, but it's his time to rest now.
Jimmy is retiring with dignity.
Social worker Claire Hodges says he has a suitable retirement home ahead of him.
Yeah, he does.
Yes, he does.
An elderly lady, 85-year-old. Yeah, so they can retire together.
Pamper him in the way he should be pampered.
Staff say, although he will be missed, he has his own health problems to deal with now, and he definitely deserves a break. Siobhan Watson, The South Today.
And that's all for this edition of Southern Newsweek. Be sure to check us out on Facebook, YouTube and Twitter, or you can keep up with Southern News via our website, channel39.co.nz. I'm Holly Buchanan. Thanks for watching.